Hey Chaotic Crew, Brian here, and before we get into the craziness that's going to be this upcoming MagicCon here the next week or two, want to do some more Marvel Superheroes deck techs, so we're avoiding the opposition today with Sentry, Golden Guardian, and before I dive too much into this deck, I want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Mana Pool. It's a fast-growing marketplace for Magic the Gathering that makes buying and selling cards easy. The Optimizer helps you get the best value in buying cards, and the team is focused on making it a great experience for buyers and sellers alike. So if you're wanting to buy any of the cards that I'm showcasing today, make sure to check out our affiliate link in the description below. But let's get into it here. The Sentry Golden Guardian is a 4-mana human hero that's a 5/5 flying, vigilance, indestructible creature. So really great commander. In general, just like stat-wise, it's indestructible, it has evasion, and it has vigilance, so you can attack each turn with the Sentry. The downside is that when the Sentry enters, target opponent creates the Void, a legendary 5/5 black horror villain creature token with flying, indestructible, and the Void attacks each combat if able. So, that is a bad side, but the good part of it is the Sentry can block the Void, and nothing happens, right? Because it has vigilance, the Sentry can keep attacking each turn and then keep blocking the Voids. And the Void that you make will always tap when it attacks unless your opponent can give it vigilance. So there are a lot of fun ways you can build this deck, and one of them is to blink the Sentry over and over again so that each of your opponents has the Void. Now, if your opponents are cunning, right, they may try and say, well, hey, we'll just keep attacking this person with the Void, right? Me with the Void, the Sentry player. And again, the Sentry can block it every time as long as the Sentry is on the battlefield. So there is that, but you can go to your opponent's creatures. There's a lot of ways to make it so that they can't attack you, and that's what we're going for here. We got 3 planeswalkers, right? And they all 3 do completely different things, but work really well together. The Eternal Wanderer is fantastic because you can blink your commander with the +1, so love that. The 0 gives you a 2/2 with double strike, so always a great blocker to have. And then the -4, you get to, again, essentially choose a creature each player controls, sacrifice the rest. So very, very strong. It is a way to get rid of your opponent's voids if they are being annoying with them, right? The Eternal Wanderer can get rid of them, so really, really strong there. Teo, Geometric Tactician, is really awesome here because this deck is also a lot of politics, I will say. The Sentry, you can give any opponent the void, so you can give it to someone who you consider an ally. You can make a deal with someone to give them the void. There's a lot of really cool utility here, and that's what I love about it. And Teo adds to that, right, by drawing us a card as well as an opponent, right? He also makes a 0/4 white wall with Defender and Flying when he enters, so that is a creature that can block one of the voids once. But the big reason you're playing Teo here is the -2 to choose left or right until your next turn. Each player may attack only the nearest opponent in the last chosen direction, and planeswalkers controlled by that opponent. So if you want to make sure that someone with the void it can attack you, Teo is there to stop that. The Aether Spark is interesting. I figure we needed some more card draw in here, and the Aether Spark is a card that can do that. It'll buff your commander, making it a 6/6, so we love that, right, when you attach it to it. And then, as it continues to deal damage each turn, it gets more and more counters. It's indestructible, so it'll typically live longer than most creatures that are equipped. And eventually you get to rack up enough with the Aether Spark to where you don't really care if you're hitting in anymore. You're just -5ing, -10ing. So this can get out of hand pretty quickly. We are running 15 creatures, and I hate this printing, so we're going to switch it. Essentially, we are running cards that make it either catch us up or make it difficult to hit us, or less enticing to hit us. Angel of the Ruins is just great here because it can exile 2 artifacts and or enchantments, so really great to have there. It can also Planecycle to help get us some more lands and mana if we need it. Champions of Minas Tirith is fantastic because we get a card draw off of Champions of Minas Tirith, but also if we're the Monarch, your opponents have to pay X to to attack us for X is the number of cards in their hand. If they don't, they can't attack us that combat. So very, very strong for us. Everett K. Ross is fantastic to give our commander lifelink, and then whenever our opponent attacks us with 2 or more creatures, we draw a card, so love that. Knight of the White Orchid just catches us up with lands. We're also running Loyal Warhound, which does the same thing. Lion's Ash is good to have in here. Making our commander bigger is nice, but it isn't something we're necessarily trying to do with this deck. Lion's Ash we mainly have in here for the Graveyard Hate. Just really fantastic card to have in any deck that doesn't have it. Any kind of Graveyard Hate. Lord of the Third Path can destroy something and then has that politicking side again to have us and an opponent draw a card. Lucy McLean is really cool here. A 5-mana 3/5. Whenever a token enters, you may have target player other than its controller create a token that's a copy of it. Then you draw a card if an opponent created a token this way. Do this only once each turn. So I love Lucy because the first time you play the Void, you will give it to an opponent, and then with Lucy on the battlefield, if you want a card draw, you can give that Void to another opponent. Or you can have yourself get a Void. Very, very strong to have your own Void that's indestructible. So now we have 2 5/5s of flying and indestructible, and our opponents only have 1 each. So Lucy McLean, very good here to have. I think is a fun take on the deck. Mungar the Diplomat is just helping us draw cards. Typically, when an opponent just casts their second spell, draw a card, and then if an opponent decides to attack us too, drawing cards is helpful there as well. Now, Nils, Discipline Enforcer, 3-mana 2/2. Beginning of our end step, for each player, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature that player controls. Each creature with 1 or more counters on it can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless its controller pays X, with X the number of counters on that creature. So what's really great about Nils is you can start putting +1/+1 counters on the voids that our opponents have. And then the more counters they have on it, the more difficult it's going to be to actually attack us with them. So going to make it so over time your opponents will have to attack each players, but that's only if Nils is on the battlefield. If Nils gets removed, which is pretty easy, then you're just buffing up the best creatures you're giving your opponents. So keep that in mind that that's not the best strategy, but kind of funny. Phyrexian Vindicator is fantastic here. It's a 5/5 flyer. If damage will be dealt to Phyrexian Vindicator, prevent that damage. When damage is prevented this way, Phyrexian Vindicator deals that much damage to any other target. Another great, reason for people not to attack you, right? Just keep Phyrexian Vindicator up as a blocker, and yeah, it is a really, really good card here. Silent Arbiter is also fantastic because since the Voids have to attach each combat if able, and no more than 1 creature can attack each combat, they have to choose the Void to attack. Unless there happens to be another creature that has to attack each combat if able, then one of those 2 can attack, but typically the Void is going to be taking up that slot, and then no more than 1 creature can block each combat. That does hurt us a little bit, right? But our commander is indestructible and has vigilance, so pretty good there. We don't mind that as badly. But yeah, Silent Arbiter really strong and does a lot for this deck. Scott-Enclave Apparition can get really annoying to remove opponents' commanders, but I would say would maybe want to use this more so to get rid of our opponent's voids if they're becoming troublesome, right? Just good card to have in the hand. If you have to get rid of a commander with it or another strong piece, great. But it is typically used for the voids here. Witch Enchanter, just a solid, artifact enchantment removal, can double as a land. Yes Man, Personal Securitron is another great political card here, and it's going to be drawing us cards as well as opponents' cards. And then when this leaves the battlefield, you're going to make a bunch of white soldier tokens, probably 4, 3, anywhere between 3 and 5 is reasonable, and then any more than that is pretty great. And then sorceries, we're running Cut a Deal to draw some cards, Tempted Bunnies to draw some cards and make some tokens. But we're running Promise of Loyalty, which is honestly probably the best card in here, because sure, you can use this to get rid of the voids if you want to, but what's really great is you can have each opponent keep their void, and they put a Val counter, and those voids can never attack you for the rest of the game. And that is really, really strong to have in a deck that constantly is creating these powerful resources for your opponents. Requisition Raid is also fantastic for some removal, but can also buff our creatures if we want it to as well, but typically 3 mana to remove 2 things is great. And then Tragic Arrogance is another way to make people sacrifice their voids if they're really troublesome, and maybe give them, make them keep their 1/1 chump blocker or whatever. I don't know. Instants, we're running 15 of those. Brave the Elements is really great to give our white creatures protection from a chosen color until end of turn. So that works great for us, and the reason I'm putting this in the deck instead of maybe another card that can just give any creature protection from a color. I think this works well, especially in decks that maybe can cast stuff from our graveyards. Like some Spellslinger decks can do that, so this makes it more difficult for them to be able to utilize that. But we are running a few cards here that will, blink our commander to get more voids on the battlefield. Cloud Shift, Ephemerate. We're running Parting Gust, which can also be removal, right? We have Scroll Shift as well. Those are all cards that will exile our own creature, give the void a trigger, and so on and so forth. Crush Contraband is great to remove an artifact or an enchantment, or both. Final Showdown is an instant speed board wipe that we can use to get rid of the voids if we want to, but typically we'll destroy everything but the voids in our commander. Mana Tithe, and we are running another Rebuff the Wicked as 2 white counterspells here that may or may not confuse our opponents. Path to Exile and Swords, of course, are fantastic here. And then Restoration Magic as protection, so Jiri Seltzer as protection, Settle the Wreckage as a big FU to anyone who tries to full swing us, right? So there's that. But artifacts, you're running a good amount here. There's some ramp, right? But there's also a good amount of equipment. We want to make sure our commander is buffed, but also want to make sure that we can punch through if we need to. Arcane Signet, and we've also got Marble Diamond, Pearl Medallion, Mind Stone. We've got Thought Vessel and Wayfarer's Bauble as sort of ramp. And then we have Champion's Helm for hexproof. We have Buster Sword to cast stuff, Genji Glove for double strike and additional combat steps, Longstorm Warhammer Shadow Spear for trample and lifelink, Sword of the Animist for some ramp. We've got Mask of Memory for some card draw. And we've also got, speaking of card draw, Tome of Legends, the One Ring, both really cards solid for that. Swift of Boots also helps protect our commander. Endless Atlas can draw us cards, which is nice. It's not amazing, but it works. And then Bloodthirsty Blade is a card we can equip to our opponent's voids to make them goated, and 7/5, so very strong there. And enchantments, last but not least, we have some strong ones. Teleportation Circle is great to just continually re-get our commander onto the battlefield. We've also got Pariah, which can be really annoying for our opponents to deal with. Our commander being indestructible, if we attach Pariah to it, all damage that we dealt to us, we dealt to the Sentry. But because, it is what it is, you can honestly, ideally, you actually put this on one of the voids that you have, because then your opponent removing your commander doesn't also screw you with Pariah. You would want to have it on your opponent's void so they are enticed to get rid of that before your commander. With Great Power, also similar, but you have to do it on your own commander, and it does get pretty big, so not bad there. Touch of the Spirit Realm is removal that can also be used to blink your own stuff. And then we have some Pillow 40 effects, right? High Ground lets our commander block an additional creature each combat. So what's fantastic, again, because it is indestructible. Ghostly Prison makes it so it's harder to attack us at all. Duelist Heritage can give stuff double strike. Norn's Decree also really makes people not want to attack us. Can give us some card draw as well, but pretty nice there. And then for lands, we're running 36. We're running Cavernous Soul to make our commander and some of our other creatures unblockable. Marry the Sky Ruin is great here too. Just your normal take of like additional white mana. Plaza of Heroes can give hexproof in a pinch. Scavenger Grounds for some graveyard hate too. Roadside Well Quarry, War Room, and some other cards here to draw some cards. Rogue's Passage to give us some protection. But yeah, that's the deck there. Let's give it a quick little play test. We have got ourselves a 3-lander, so we'll keep it. We'll draw, and we will play Monumental Hinge tapped. Next turn, play a Plains, play Endless Atlas. Can't really do a whole lot with it right now, but good to have. Path of Ancestry I do like, so I guess we play that. Well, first off, we probably Knight of the White Orchid. And then we pad the Ancestry. And that way we get to where we want to go. Alright, and then next turn we can play our commander. So what's great here is we have the 3rd planes, which will trigger Idyllic Grange next turn to get a counter on our commander. But it also means that when we have the mana, we can Endless Atlas to draw a card. So we're in a really great spot here to where we have an extra mana to blink our commander if someone tries to remove it with an exile spell. We have card draw, so some extra card draw per turn. We have protection with Settle the Wreckage as well to stop that, and some more removal, as well as a Tragic Arrogance to really, you know, reset the board. But we're doing really great here, and the Sentry is, yeah, we're in a really great spot. So that's a fantastic turn of events. Let's try again. 2 lands, and we have Loyal Warhound. Keepable, sure. So we draw. We draw the planes, never punished. We'll go ahead and play the Sajiri Shelter, tapped. Then next turn, turn 2. Duelist Heritage is really nice. If someone has ramped, we can Loyal Warhound. If we're playing against a green deck, worst case scenario, we have to do that next turn. But if we can do it this turn, Loyal Warhound is fantastic to get another planes and then cast our commander the following turn. We have Loxodon Warhammer to make him really, really strong, and Parting Gust to protect him as well. Duelist Heritage to give double strike. So we're in a really strong position. If someone decides to remove our commander, we're kind of, you know, up the creek without a paddle. Ghostly Prison can help keep us alive for a bit longer if that's needed. So again, we're in a really good spot here, and I really like that a lot. So one more time. 1 land. We have 36 lands, so this should not be happening as often as it is. But I digress. 2 lands, no ramp. We have a Greaves, so I'll take it. Draw 'em. Swift of Boots is also nice. Turn 2, no land. We might get punished here. We play the Greaves. Turn 3, never punished. Alright. We technically need to draw another thing, but what's great here is that play Teo, make a blocker, and then we can draw a card. And then we can put this on the blocker. So I love that, and now this is at 4, so really, really good there. We'll plus Teo again. We do get the 4th planes on the very last card we could have drawn for this turn 4. We play the Sentry, and now we are in business, as some might say. And so, yeah, with Lightning Greaves, our commander is incredibly hard to get rid of. It has to be a mass exile board wipe. So the following turn, you know, we have a Mana Tithe, which is fun, but probably going to be plussing 1 with Teo. Luckily, we do get the card we needed. We could later play Lucy. Mostly probably going to play Ghostly Prison and leave mana open for a Path to Exile or something, or Mana Tithe. But yeah, really, really strong deck here, really fun. And the more you can blink the Sentry to help out, you know, give all your opponents voids and have them attack each other, it just is really fun and funny. So I hope you enjoy the deck tech. Let me know what you would put in, what you would take out, and otherwise I'll be back next week with another deck tech. You take care. Bye.